Star Wars has a lot of massive, long-lasting corporations and conglomerates who have big impacts on the galaxy. Some, like the Trade Federation, even were given the right to representation in the Republic Senate. Today, though, we're going to be talking about another corporation you may know if you've played a little game called Knights of the Old Republic, and which lasted way longer than a lot of people probably realize: Czerka Corp. For most people, if you're familiar with Czerka Corp, you probably know them from the Knights of the Old Republic games. We don't know when the company was founded, but around the time of Knights of the Old Republic, about 4,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, the company was run by a president named Pollard Ciario, established in the Old Republic MMO's database. Ciario was always an opportunist and aligned the company with the Sith and headquartered them on Korriban, where the growing city of Dresde is even powered by generators provided by Czerka. Czerka also became involved in other illicit and immoral activities in this period, including Wookiee slavery on Kashyyyk, failed operations on Tatooine to mine ores, later known as Syrio's Squander, and efforts on Telos to sabotage the attempts by the Ithorians to restore the planet after it had been devastated from orbit by Admiral Saul Karath on Darth Malak's orders. These efforts, taken in concert with a criminal enterprise known as the Exchange, were exposed by former Jedi Knight Meetra Surik, also known as the Jedi Exile. And despite the wide array of terrible things they were involved in, including directly allying with the Sith, this was actually one of the only things they seemed to face any actual legal repercussions for. We have the trial for it in KOTOR 2, or at least the gathering of evidence for a trial and then re-establishing Ithorian control, but despite facing some of these kinds of penalties, Czerka seems to have largely gone on unimpeded. The loss of their Sith allies probably didn't help, but they were still able to grow their influence throughout the Republic and even into reclusive hut space following this war. Their motto, anytime, anywhere, we're there, represented the massive growth in not just scale, but scope of the operations undertaken by Czerka. They'd originally been founded as Czerka Mining and Industrial, but 3 centuries after Knights of the Old Republic, still more than 3,500 years before the time period of the movies, they'd expanded into additional ventures, including arms manufacturing and even food production. They were far and away the largest outfit operating in the galaxy, and they had a hand in basically everything. Czerka more or less owned multiple star systems, and as a result of this, even had representation in the Republic Senate, much like the future separatist corporations would come to do later on. Lesser known than their exploits in these ancient periods, though, is the fact that the corporation survived in some capacity until the latest parts of the Legends timeline, even though it wasn't quite at the same scale as their operations before. While Knights of the Old Republic is what made them famous, their introduction actually came from the Rebel Alliance sourcebook released in 1990, where a holdout blaster called the Czerka 411 is introduced as primary gear for Rebel soldiers. A Star Wars Insider article called Unknown Soldier: The Story of General Grievous also mentions Czerka rifles as being used in the lead-up to the Clone Wars by General Grievous, whose planet was being attacked by an invading insectoid species called the Huk. This was before he'd been manipulated by the Sith and turned into the cyborg general we know from the movies. The actual company Czerka made a deal to only sell to the Empire, but as the Alliance sourcebook shows, their arms made their way to the Rebellion and other groups in various ways, including being listed as an acceptable target for privateering by the Rebellion. After the Rebellion, despite having allied with the Sith for a second time, they returned to the public sector and tried to acquire business deals with the New Republic. While they had fallen a long way in the galaxy, this was still successful. Their previous position wouldn't be one they reach again, but by the time of the New Republic and the later Galactic Alliance, which replaced the New Republic, they were still the 3rd largest weapons manufacturer, behind only Blastech and Mersan, which isn't bad for a company that's now over 4,000 years old. The Dark Nest trilogy, set 3 decades after Endor, includes their latest mention, where we get the Czerka Headbanger. While this sounds like a metal fan, it was actually a riot gun which was used to stun Leia and her Jedi Master Sabas Sebatine when they were taken prisoner aboard a Galactic Alliance vessel. It probably shouldn't be surprising that a weapons manufacturing company would last this long in Star Wars, because they're always fighting something, but after I read Dark Nest recently, I was surprised to see the mention of Czerka, so I went back and found all these other mentions of them. Either way, that's going to do it for our look at Czerka Corp, Czerka Mining and Industrial, and Czerka Arms. If you've enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more, and if there's another topic you'd like to see me cover on the channel, please leave it in the comments as well. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.